Ever get that feeling, when you start a TV show and you just can't stop watching?
Oh, absolutely. You just get completely hooked.
Yeah, and you just have to see what happens next.
Totally. Binge watching, right?
Exactly. Binge watching. Well, today we're kind of diving into that same idea, but applying it to something, well, something that's not always quite as gripping. Training.
Right. Not exactly known for its thrill factor.
Not usually. But thankfully, there's this researcher, Kevin Brake, and he's been looking into this whole area, trying to figure out how to make learning truly captivating. And his work always just throws up like a ton of fascinating ways to think about it.
Absolutely. It's really intriguing how he approaches the whole concept of engagement. He looks at what really grabs us in entertainment, the stuff that gets us hooked, and then he asks this crucial question. How can we use those same principles to help people learn and develop new skills?
So basically, for everyone listening, what we're aiming to do in this deep dive is to sort of extract some of the core ideas from Kevin Brake's research. We want to get a good grasp on the key shifts in thinking that can transform training from something we just endure into something we actually want to be a part of.
Exactly. And all of his research sort of revolves around this central question.
hmm
What can we do to make training as engaging as a really great TV series? It might seem simple on the surface, but when you actually delve into it, it opens up this whole new perspective on how we design learning experiences.
It really does. Think about it. When you think about those shows you absolutely love, the ones you can't get enough of, what is it that keeps you coming back for more? What is it about them that just draws you in? Well, Kevin Brake's work really digs deep into that question. He's trying to uncover what makes them so compelling and how we can incorporate those same elements into the learning process.
One of the key things he focuses on is this concept called intrinsic motivation. Basically, it's the idea that the drive to learn comes from within, from a genuine curiosity or a real enjoyment of the subject itself. It's not just about external rewards like grades or certificates. His research really digs into how to cultivate that internal spark in learners.
Right, because it's not about slapping points and badges onto a course and calling it a day. It goes much deeper than that. Kevin Brake looks at how we can make the learning experience itself feel inherently rewarding, just like following a captivating storyline.
hmm
And he's identified several areas where we can really borrow those principles of engaging entertainment to shape how we design learning experiences. Like, for example, think about the idea of a narrative arc. In a great show, you've got a beginning, rising action, a climax, and a resolution, and that whole structure keeps you completely invested.
Exactly. You're on the edge of your seat the entire time.
Totally. And Kevin Brake is basically saying, hey, why not structure our learning experiences with that same kind of flow, that sense of progression and discovery? Instead of just laying out information in a boring, linear way, imagine framing a learning module as a quest or a challenge with increasing levels of difficulty that lead to a final goal, a moment where everything clicks and you suddenly understand.
That connection to narrative, that's absolutely crucial. It's what makes stories so powerful, right? They give us a sense of purpose, a reason to keep going, and they connect with us on an emotional level. Kevin Brake's research suggests that when learning has a meaningful context, when learners actually understand why they're learning something and can see how it fits into the bigger picture, they're way more likely to stay engaged.
And it's not just about the overall structure either. You have to think about those little hooks that keep you glued to a show episode after episode. Kevin Brake also talks about the power of anticipation. Think about it. A good show often leaves you hanging at the end of an episode, right? It creates this cliffhanger that makes you desperate to watch the next one. He believes we can build that same kind of anticipation into learning.
Oh, absolutely. You're left wanting more.
Exactly. It's like, give me the next episode right now. And in a learning setting, maybe you start a module by presenting a problem that the learners can't solve until they've gone through the material. That way, they're driven to learn because they want to find the answer.
Exactly. It's about crafting a learning journey that feels like it has momentum. Each bit of information, each skill they acquire, builds upon the last. It creates this sense of moving forward, making progress, and it leaves them eager to learn more. Kevin Brake has explored how even small things, like posing questions at the beginning of a lesson that aren't answered until later, can act as those little hooks that keep learners invested and curious.
It's all about creating that sense of intrigue. Now imagine you're designing a training program, let's say for new employees. Instead of just bombarding them with facts and figures, what if you framed it as an onboarding adventure? Each module unlocks new skills and knowledge they'll need to succeed in their role. It's like giving them a map and saying, go explore, go discover what you need to know.
That's such a brilliant example, and it brings us right back to that idea of intrinsic motivation. When learners feel like they're on a meaningful journey, actively uncovering and building their own understanding, that's where the real motivation comes from. It's that internal sense of accomplishment, that feeling of growth, rather than just checking things off a list. Kevin Brake's research really highlights how vital it is to design learning experiences that tap into that innate human desire to learn and master new things.
It really makes you think about your own experiences with training, doesn't it? Which learning experiences have really stuck with you and what made them so memorable. Chances are they weren't just dry lectures or boring presentations. There was something about them, something that sparked your curiosity or made you feel invested in the outcome. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think that's the heart of what Kevin Brake is getting at. It's about moving away from that purely instructional model of training, the one that just focuses on delivering information. Instead, we need to shift towards a model that prioritizes creating a truly engaging and immersive learning experience. When we approach learning with the same level of care and attention to detail that we see in great entertainment, it becomes not just more enjoyable, but far more effective as well. People retain more information, and they're more likely to apply what they've learned.
So if we were to summarize all these key ideas from Kevin Brake's research, it seems like it all boiled down to understanding what makes entertainment so captivating and then finding ways to apply those same principles to the way we design training programs. It's about harnessing things like compelling narratives, fostering curiosity, creating a sense of progress, and really tapping into our innate desire to learn and grow.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to understand that this isn't about simplifying complex topics or just trying to make learning fun on a superficial level. It's about recognizing that effective learning, just like effective storytelling, requires careful thought, creativity, and a deep understanding of what truly motivates and engages people. Kevin Brake's work provides a really valuable framework for examining and improving the way we approach training and development.
Now, for everyone listening, whether you design training programs or you're someone who participates in them, I want you to think about your own experiences. Consider a learning experience that you found truly engaging, one that really stood out. What was it about that experience that made it so memorable? What were the key elements that made a difference? And could those elements be connected back to some of these ideas we've been talking about today?
If you're feeling inspired and want to explore this further, there are a ton of amazing resources online that delve into the science of learning and effective training methods. I'd highly recommend checking out learning science blogs, websites from organizations that focus on best practices in corporate training, and resources from educational psychology associations. A simple search in those areas will lead you to a wealth of information beyond kevinbrake.com, of course.
And to wrap things up, I want to leave you with a question to ponder, something to really think about. It builds directly on Kevin Brake's central idea. Imagine your absolute favorite TV show, the one you could watch over and over again. Now think about what specific aspects of that show, maybe the way the story unfolds, the characters that you connect with, or the challenges they overcome. What aspects do you think could be adapted or translated into creating more effective and truly captivating learning experiences for others?
That's such a thought-provoking question to consider. If this deep dive into Kevin Brake's work has sparked some ideas or insights for you, we'd love to hear them. Don't hesitate to leave a comment and share your thoughts. We really appreciate your engagement and we value your perspective.
And don't forget to hit that like button if you found this deep dive valuable. We'll see you next time.